Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're here for another amazing client interview. Today we've got Kristy with us, who's one of our superstar clients over in California. And Kristy had an amazing journey with us about 3 months ago, but she's continued to progress ever since and use all the tools we gave her. So we want to go much deeper into that and share lots of insight. So as always, if you're watching this live, please hashtag live. If you're catching the replay, hashtag replay, just so we know who's watching, and we're going to get straight into it. So Kristy, please can you tell the viewers a bit about yourself and your kind of wellness journey to date, and what brought you to the place of reaching out to us, feeling like you needed some professional help?
Yeah, so I am 54 years old. I live in California. I'm a registered nurse. And I've spent a lot of my life going back and forth between like vegetarian and vegan, and then I would eat meat and then vegetarian, vegan. And my weight would just kind of yo-yo up and down, up and down. And I would be fit for a while and then not be fit. And I'd work out for a while. And I just really hit a place, especially for my age and starting into that like perimenopausal stage. Just really wanted some consistency with my health, with my weight. Being a nurse, it's important because I'm mobilizing patients all day. It was important to be strong and to keep my back healthy. That's like the number one thing that happens to nurses if their back gets thrown out, and sometimes you recover, sometimes you don't. So I had a few back injuries, and I just thought, I got to get things together. So I didn't want a diet. I didn't want something temporary. I really just wanted to change the way I was approaching my health. And I saw you guys advertised on Instagram, and I saw your challenge. If you're ready to get fit, respond. And I started watching some more of your videos, and I thought, wow, I think this might be the approach I'm looking for. And then I had the opportunity to talk to you guys and find out more about your program, and discovered that it wasn't a fad. It wasn't that. It really was just an approach to life. And so yeah, that's how I got hooked up with you guys.
Love it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, we got very lucky to have you as one of our clients. It was absolutely pleasure working with you, and your progress was so beautiful. And what it's even more beautiful that you continue the journey. So tell us and tell the viewers, what have you learned, how it differed? Like you said, it wasn't a fad diet, that was approach to change your lifestyle and really start loving yourself again. So what have you learned, and what really helped you to look at your health differently?
I think that the big difference for me was that your program is so holistic in its approach. It's not just about the exercise, it's not just about the eating, but you guys really taught me to stop and take a look at what I think about, what I believe about myself, what I believe about my health. And so it wasn't just, oh, I'm going to exercise and eat right. It was, I'm going to rethink how I even look at those things and how I approach those things. And I mean, the homework you guys gave throughout the program just caused me to slowly have this change of perspective, where it really was the lifestyle I was looking for. And I think that's the reason actually that I've been able to maintain. And by the way, I've been able to maintain with like little effort. Like it just sort of became the way I approached things, the way I thought about things. And I think that's why I'm just still just living what you guys taught me, because my mind is different. I mean, I guess that's the big thing. My mind is different. The way I'm thinking is different.
That's everything. That's so great to hear, Kristy. And you've done it in like one of the most or the most challenging years possible, particularly being in healthcare and being in nursing, with all the COVID pandemic and being on the front line. There's other like flare-ups in California at the moment. I gather it's not a great place to be. But how has that kind of preparation and that filling of your own cup helped you in dealing with a very stressful and tiring work situation?
Well, I have energy. That's huge. Because I'm still eating right, I'm still eating very nutritiously, because I'm still exercising, I'm keeping that physical strength up. I mean, I surprise myself at work sometimes, the things I can do with patients now that I probably couldn't do 6 or 9 months ago, because I just didn't have the physical strength or stability, I should say. But it's, you know, like I said, it's a mental thing too. And so my approach isn't just, oh, I'm going to eat right today, I'm going to make sure I'm exercising this week. It's just how I'm approaching things, how I'm thinking about things is differently. And now I do things like I stop before I go to work, and I settle myself, and I consider my day. And so it's not just, I don't know how to explain it. It's not just
following the plan step by step. It's actually being mindful about everyday choices.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. It's mindful. I'm just being mindful about everything. And I feel like I'm better equipped than a lot of my coworkers. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to worry about, my health, after the pandemic. I'm just trying to get through this thing. And every time I hear that, I think, that kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because the fact that I am doing well is attributed in a very, very large part to the fact that I am stable in the way I'm thinking about my health, that I am considering it very holistically, that I'm eating well, I have energy at work, I'm working out, I have strength at work. It's equipped me to be able to handle this situation, which is, I mean, it's truly very stressful.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like you've got a care in the world. You look so relaxed, and you're doing one of the most stressful jobs on planet Earth at the moment. So yeah, thank you for everything you're doing, Kristy. And we're so glad you feel better equipped, both mentally and physically and spiritually, just to be able to deal with everything that's being thrown at you at the moment. I just wanted to touch on something, Kristy, because you mentioned a lot of your co-workers are putting things on the back burner. This is a really interesting thing which Vida and I always discuss. And, we work with women all over the world, all different countries, all walks of life. But a lot of people that do reach out to us are in healthcare, doctors, nurses, paramedics, also other very giving professions like teachers, foster mums. Do you feel that you've spent so much of your life looking after others that if you prioritized your own health, you started to feel a bit selfish and a bit guilty? Does that resonate with you at all? And do you think that's kind of a trait of the healthcare industry, that people are so used to giving to others and looking after others that they feel selfish looking after themselves?
Yeah, selfish, I think, is probably a good word for it. And, it's true what they say about doctors and nurses, like we're the worst at taking care of our own health. We really are. We just, I think when you're in this profession, you just tend to automatically put yourself on the back burner, and you step forward and see what you can do, for someone else. It's really true.
And it's ironic, right? Because now that you have prioritized yourself, you're even more efficient at work, you're stronger physically, more energy, you're more productive. So you're helping people even more. and even better, to a fuller degree, now that you have looked after yourself. So that's a very important point for anyone watching, that, you know, if you've got a large family that you're used to taking care of, or a business where you're looking after your employees, or you're in a very caring and giving profession like Kristy, that self-care and self-love is definitely not selfish. It's essential, because we can only fill other people's cups when our cup is filled to the brim first. So that's a really important note.
Yeah, that's very important. Another question for you, Kristy, is that you obviously mentioned quite a few times how important it was to work on your mental health, right? And really understand your own mindset and conditioning. So now, because you are making mindful choices and you're aware of the mindset shift you experience, so what has changed how you look to your health before you started and how you look at your health right now? What was that mindset shift and what was that difference?
You know, I think I thought having a healthful mind was an option before. It was a choice. It was like I could choose to do this or not choose to do this. And it is, but it isn't. If you want to have a good life, if you want to live well and enjoy your life, it's not something that you can back burner. It's not something that you can set aside and make a choice for later. So I think the difference is what we're really just talking about is my priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And I've realized that I have to be my health and my mindset, and that has to be a priority for me if I want to do well in my career, if I want to do well really just in my life and in my relationships. I've got grandkids that one day after this pandemic I will see again. But it's not an option anymore. It's a priority.
I love that.
Yeah, so true. And it's funny, isn't it? Because our health is the most important thing we have. Yet it often, you know, we put it on the back burner and we find other priorities that come before health. But without our health, we've got nothing. So yeah. I loved that fact that you just kind of like reviewed it and you made your health and your wellness a priority again. That's so important.
Yeah, and it's very hard for us to understand, being health and wellness coaches, how people prioritize everything else, to go and have regular hair appointment and get their car checked regularly so the car keeps running, right?
Restaurants, drinking,
everything they invest money and energy into. But when it comes to your own car, you're driving every day, your body, your health, for some reason, people think, like you said, that it could be somewhere in the back.
It could be optional.
Yeah, like why, you know, if we go and take care of our car and we keep, you know, that maintenance to make sure the car is running, why we don't do that with ourselves? It's very, very interesting. And I love hearing that the biggest change in your mindset was that it has to be a priority. And it does. It's one thing we have to prioritize. Otherwise, we're not going to enjoy restaurants or hair appointments or anything else if we don't, if we're not going to be healthy.
Yeah. And I think you lost like 16 or 17 pounds. Yeah. Phenomenal, but all the other wins and victories and breakthroughs that you've listed are so much bigger than that and so much more profound. And also the fact that, you know, you've lost that weight and it's staying off even, you know, 3 months later, and you're still making those mindful choices and progressing on your wellness journey is absolutely fantastic. That's what it's all about.
Did you have before sustainable results, or was it your first time and you could keep your results sustainable and keep that weight off?
I feel like I've had periods of time in my life where I sustained weight loss for a while, but excuse me, I have a feeling that this is different. I mean, I can just tell the way I'm thinking about it's different. Like before, usually by this time, I would be wavering and I'd be, you know, kind of starting bad habits again and whatever. And I don't feel that way now. Honestly, right now, I can't really conceive of going back to that other way of thinking, you know.
Yeah.
It just gross.
It's a full mindset shift,
Yeah.
right? It's like we say, a software upgrade. You've just upgraded the software in the brain, and you can't even imagine what it was like before, how you lived that way. You're on a totally different trajectory now.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing for people to understand, that once the mindset is shifted, that stays, because it's done, it's in your psyche, right? And that's what you operate from right now, from this different upgrade, like Scott said. Because if we upgrade just hardware, just the body, it might stay for a while, but the software is old and it brings you back to those old habits. But when software is changed, that's it, there's no way back, because that back doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, that was a very important point. Thank you so much for sharing this, Kristy. One last thing we always ask, for people who are on the fence and thinking about getting help and asking for support, we always say it's not a weakness, but it's absolutely strength to get a professional support and help. So if someone is still on the fence, what would you advise to those people?
I would advise them to take the leap, and to don't think of it as a burden, because I mean that I think that's what stops people, or at least that's what stopped me, is thinking like, oh, I gotta now start this thing, and I'm gonna have to be disciplined about this, and I'm gonna have to work out all the time. And you think of it like it's a burden. But one of the things that happened for me through your program is I started, and then I started doing the homework, which again, all the mental stuff, right? And what happened is, by the end of the program, it didn't feel like a burden at all. I mean, honestly, it didn't feel like a burden by a month into the program. I was so energized and happy. But I would just say take the leap, because my health is not a burden to me now. It's not it's not something that feels like, oh, I have to work out, or I have to think about what I'm eating. It's a joy and really kind of a privilege to be able to have the information I have, and to be able to continue to step forward in health every day. I just feel grateful. So it's not a burden. Trust me, it's something you're going to be very, very grateful for.
Wow, couldn't have said it better, Kristy. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey and your insights with everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to connect with you and accompany you on your journey. So keep up the great work with everything you're doing. And yeah, you're doing absolutely amazing.
Yes, thank you so much, Kristy.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.